Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you from the Emirates. The fans are just beginning to filter out here. Very happy looking Arsenal fans indeed walking out the stadium. 3-2 Arsenal have beaten Liverpool here at the Emirates to move back to the top of the Premier League table, moving above Manchester City, sending Liverpool 14 points behind Arsenal now after 9 games, which is incredible really. It's absolutely breathless game, really was a breathless game. It toed and froed. Arsenal went in front after 58 seconds, Liverpool hit back, Arsenal went back in front just before half time, Liverpool hit back again, and then Arsenal won it finally at the end. You can hear some applause from the fans that left in the stadium here because Mikel Arteta has just walked out to do his Sky interview with the Sky team, including John Barnes and Paul Merson in front of me. A very happy looking Mikel Arteta, as you can understand. What a stressful game that was. Though I tell you what, honestly, I'm 40 now, I can't deal with these games anymore. My heart was pounding out my chest in that last 10 minutes, trying to write stuff and keep my cool and my composure. I don't know how the players do it. Honestly, Bukayo Saka, how he stood over that penalty for felt like about 3 minutes before he got to take it. And to put it in the bottom corner, brilliant from Saka. And just a fantastic game, like I said, breathless stuff, everything the Premier League wants to see in a game. I mean, for the neutral it must have been amazing, for Arsenal fans it must have been horrendous, because it was for me. And like I said, the way it toed and froed, you thought they were on top, and then Liverpool hit back. Arsenal started the second half so well, and then suddenly Liverpool hit back again, and you thought at that point, oh no, what's going to happen here? I mean, this is a big test for this young side, and to be pegged back, and both times to get themselves back in front again, huge credit has to be paid for Arsenal for the way they handled themselves in this game, the way they once again, as they have done all season, responded to adversity, responded to getting pegged back, and they had the character, the personality, the mentality to bounce back and get themselves a win, against a side that they've struggled against so much in recent years. And this is the first time since 2020 that Arsenal beaten Liverpool in the Premier League, but even that game was it was behind closed doors. Liverpool had already won the title. It was a weird game. And in terms of an actual packed stadium, it's been ages since Arsenal have got one over Liverpool, and to do it today the way they did as well, it just deserves huge credit. There were so many good performances. Gabrielle Martinelli again, I mean, I run out of superlatives for Martinelli. What a performance from him. Thomas Partey, I thought in the second half was absolutely immense. Takahiro Tomiyasu, I mean, it was a massive call from Mikel Arteta to start Tomiyasu at left back instead of Kieran Tierney. Zinchenko's obviously injured. Everyone thought it'd be Tierney, and he went with Tomiyasu, moved him out of position to play left back to try and sort of cover Mohamed Salah and to keep him quiet. And he did it so well. And Tomiyasu deserves huge credit for that performance. Mikel Arteta deserves huge credit for that massive tactical call, because it could have gone horribly wrong, but it didn't. Tomiyasu marked Salah out of the game. I think he only had one shot. He got dragged off after about 65 minutes or 70 minutes by Jurgen Klopp. Tomiyasu had kept him so quiet. And it turned out to be a tactical masterstroke for Mikel Arteta, and Tomiyasu deserves huge credit for his performance. I thought he was fantastic, and I mean the whole team were. We're yet to hear from Mikel. I'll go down to the press conference in a minute and see what he has to say. As I said, he's talking to the TV at the moment, so I'm not going to hear what he's going to say to them, but we'll go down to the press conference. I'll probably try and head down to the mix zone to speak to some of the players as well. I'm sure they're going to be delighted from this performance, because it is such a statement win. Last week against Tottenham, it was a good win. It was a great win. It was obviously a North London derby win, which is great, but Arsenal always beat Tottenham at home, so it didn't feel like that much of a statement win. This does, against a team they always struggle against, they always seem to lose. They lost, over the 4 games they played in all competitions against Liverpool last season, they lost them 9-0 on aggregate. And so to win, no matter how poorly Liverpool started the season, to beat them, this feels like a massive statement of intent, especially as yesterday Man City won, Chelsea won, Tottenham won, and Arsenal came back to do this and to win this game. Deserve huge credit for the performance. So many good performances out there, and I will get to my player ratings right now, because I'm sure that's what you guys want to see. Okay, so Aaron Ramsdale, weirdly from Ramsdale, he went down injured early on. He thought, oh no, Matt Turner's going to have to come on. Turner was even getting ready, putting his shin pads on. But he recovered and seemed to get through the game relatively unscathed after that. He couldn't really do anything with either goal. Nunez's one, point blank. Firmino's was a very good finish across him. Made a couple of decent stops. I'm going to give Ramsdale a 7. Tomiyasu, like I said, I thought was absolutely exceptional. Tomiyasu played really well. Just stopped Mo Salah having any sort of influence in the game, and we know how difficult that is. And there was a lot of pressure on Tomiyasu because of the decision that Mikel Arteta made, so he had to perform well. He would have known there was a lot of eyes on him, and he did it really well. So I'm going to give Tomiyasu an 8. Saliba and Gabrielle. Saliba I'll give a 7. kind of got caught out of position for the second goal. He tried to anticipate the pass and he stepped out of position, and Firmino ran in behind him into the space and scored. Not a massive error, but at this level you get punished for doing anything remotely if you put one foot wrong, and that's what happens to Lieber there. But he played well. Other than that, I give him a 7. Gabrielle, mistake for the first goal. He tried to clear a ball over his shoulder, miscued it slightly. It was still a lot for Liverpool to do to take advantage, and they did it really, really well. But it was still, when you look at it, it goes down over a bit of an error for Gabrielle that led to a goal, not for the first time this season. And I give Gabrielle, I'm going to give him a 6. It might be a bit harsh because he played well for the rest of the game, but just because of that error, I'm going to knock a point off him and give him a 6. Ben White, I thought, played really well at right back once again. Did not stop working. Got up and down that right flank continuously throughout the game. Played very well, I thought, Ben White, and he was given a tough time early on by Diaz, and I think that was a big moment in the game when Luis Diaz went off injured because he was playing really, really well. But I'm going to give Ben White a 7. In midfield, I thought Thomas Partey. First half, Arsenal struggled a little bit in midfield, but second half, I thought Thomas Partey was absolutely superb. I thought he played really, really well. Dominated the midfield, cleaned up really well. One possession, so I'm going to give Thomas Partey an 8. Granit Xhaka didn't play as advanced as we've seen him at times. Maybe that was because Liverpool, certainly in the first half, put a lot of pressure on Arsenal, and in midfield they kept the ball very, very well. But I thought he still played well, so I'm going to give Granit Xhaka a 7. I hope you can hear me. There's a lot of noise in around the stadium at the moment, but I hope you can hear me. I'm going to give Granit Xhaka a 7. Martin Odegaard, what an assist for Gabrielle Martinelli's goal from Martin Odegaard. Picture perfect through ball that Martinelli scored from. Could have scored in the second half, should have scored in the second half. Actually, weak finish from Odegaard. That would have made it 3-1 and given Arsenal some breathing space. I give Odegaard a 7. Bukayo Saka, big night this for Saka. He's only scored 1 goal this season up to this point, so he's tripled his tally in one game, and it might have been a tap in, but it's great to see him arrive at the back post to turn in Martinelli's cross. He's nearly done that a few times this season, hasn't quite got there, but he did today, and we need to see him do more of that this season. And the penalty, nerves of steel, because he had to wait an awful long time, Bukayo Saka, to take that penalty under huge pressure. 15 minutes to go, whole stadium staring at him, and he took it really well. So big night for Saka. I'm going to give him an 8. Jesus didn't get on the score sheet, won the penalty, caused Liverpool non-stop problems, got absolutely kicked up in the air throughout the game. He'll have lots of bruises tomorrow. Gabriel Jesus, he eventually went off with about 5 minutes to go. Eddie came on to replace him, and he's going to feel that in the morning, I think. Jesus, he got a real kick in. I give Jesus a 7. Martinelli, my man of the match, scored the first, set up the second, just caused Liverpool so many problems. I mean, Jurgen Klopp's such a big fan of Martinelli, but he'll be having nightmares about him this evening because the Arsenal winger just terrorised Liverpool throughout. He's turning into in front of our very eyes, turning into an absolute top class winger. And fabulous performance from Martinelli. So he gets my man of the match. He gets a 9 from me. And there were a few subs came on. I mean, not till quite late. Tierney was the first sub that came on. He came on with 10 minutes to go. Arsenal went to a back 3 at that point. And then in sort of injury time, Nketiah and Vieira came on to help see the game out. So I'm not going to give either of those guys any marks. Mikel Arteta, if I was marking him, I'd give him an 8 today, just because he made such a big call with Tomiyasu that could have gone wrong. It could have backfired. It could have opened him up for a lot of criticism, but he got it right. Tomiyasu was great. He kept Salah quiet, and that was a massive reason why Arsenal won this game. So well done to Mikel Arteta as well. All right, that's it from the Emirates, and it's a very, very happy Emirates, as you can imagine. I'll just flip around what you see at the moment. It's a very empty one because all the fans have filtered out. Still some media there, and the Arsenal substitutes going through their usual sort of warm down that they do after the game. Going to head down now, see what Mikel Arteta had to say in his press conference. Go down, try and get a word with a couple of the players as well in the mix zone. Imagine they are going to be very, very happy indeed. So from the Emirates, it's finished. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 2.